Hey everybody, I'm the managing editor of the Columbus Telegram, Matt Lindberg. Thanks for joining us. Today we have three special guests, Library Director Karen Connell, Mayor Jim Bulkley, and City Administrator Tara Vasicek. Thank you all for joining us today.
Thanks for having us, Matt.
Absolutely. So we're here to talk about the community building project. Before we get going, I'm going to give everyone a little bit of a synopsis of what the project is. In the general election this November, a special bond question will ask Columbus residents to authorize bonds for a project that includes tearing down City Hall and the Columbus Public Library, 2504 14th Street. In those lots, a larger structure would be built that includes the library, a children's museum, an art gallery, coffee shop, and City Hall. The City Hall portion of the project would be paid for by existing funds and revenue. So the stage has been set. Are you guys ready to answer some questions?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's readdress a common misconception about the community building project that has been perpetuated online and throughout the community. Is this project requiring voters to approve any tax?
No. No, it is not. The tax that would pay for this project was approved by voters in 2016. So all the voters are going to be asked is if we, the city, can issue bonds and use that existing sales tax to pay off those bonds.
One reader asked why a new City Hall is tied in with this project and that voters already turned this project down. But through conversations with the three of you over the last year and a half, it's clear this is an entirely new project. Can you speak to how it's different and how the many community town hall meetings you guys had went and what helped determine what the project would be?
When the failure happened at the last vote, we took a hard look at why. We wanted to figure out what was wrong with the package that we presented to the public. We felt we had a need, but obviously we didn't present the right package to fill that need. So staff put together a program that went out to the public with surveys, town hall meetings, basic get-togethers where we were asking questions, put together some in-depth surveys, online surveys, trying to find out what would the public support.
So another reader said, when the city builds anything, it seems to be the biggest and the fanciest, referencing the new police and fire stations specifically. She argues they're much fancier than what you'd find in larger communities like Lincoln, and suggested buildings don't need to be that extravagant.
You know, fancy, not fancy, that's in the eye of the beholder. I mean, I can find people that would tell you they're pretty basic buildings, and I can find people that will tell you, wow, that's awful fancy. Our point is we want to put a building together that's going to serve the public for the generations to come, and I'm talking generations. If you think what our fire station served from when it started as a fire station till now that it's being torn down, it was a couple, 2, 3, 4 generations. And so, you know, we believe we've spent wisely. We believe we're very prudent with the dollars. And I don't believe it's extravagant.
We want, like the mayor said, a product that will stand the test of time. We certainly don't want to spend less money and get a significantly less quality building that we have to invest more money into down the road than just making a more high quality building out of at the beginning.
Jim, you alluded to it a little bit earlier, and I've spoken with all three of you about the library, but can you all talk about the problems that currently face the Columbus Public Library and City Hall?
Well, City Hall, let me address City Hall, and Tara and Karen can maybe add in, especially Karen from the library standpoint. But when you look at the age of City Hall, we've got air conditioning and heating issues, we've got window issues. We're not ADA accessible. We have to bring staff to the first floor to handle issues that might need somebody that can't get up the stairs. We don't have an elevator. I mean, these are things that are pretty common in any building you go to today, but not in our building. And when you put the dollars to those and put together what that would cost to upgrade, it's in the millions of dollars.
But the renovation cost for City Hall was about $6 million based on a plan that the city did in 2012 and updating all the numbers going back out to contractors and getting them. It's $7 million to put City Hall on the third floor of this new building. So, and again, we're not gaining all of the additional efficiencies by doing a renovation, and we're still in a very old building that we probably didn't really address everything the way it should have been done.
From the library perspective, you know, the changing needs of technology and community spaces, that's limiting us in our current building. We're just not able to keep up. It was designed as an office building, so it contains a lot of small spaces, and it just has limited electrical capabilities, not to mention the things that have already been discussed, like HVAC and windows and you know, security and alarm systems. So even that expensive type of a renovation would leave those structural limitations, dividing the building into the inflexible spaces. And we feel like a new building would be designed to adapt as the needs of our society change and allow us to adapt to meet those needs.
So what, in your opinions, are the benefits of going through with the community building project?
We're excited, like we said earlier, about the efficiencies of co-locating City Hall, library, community room, city council chambers, children's museum, all these things under one roof. We're really excited about what this project will do just for the citizens of Columbus and citizens of the surrounding area. We really feel like it's going to be a destination. When we were discussing a potential project with the public, they spoke up loud and clear and said that this project needs to provide something different than what we have now in Columbus. It needs to be something new. It needs to be quality of life based amenities that we just don't have now. Otherwise, they didn't see the value in it. And I feel like we put a project together that definitely checks those boxes.
We really believe the shot in the arm it will give the downtown area. You know, when you think of Frankfurt Square and this beautiful facility that's going to be, you know, to the northeast of Frankfurt Square and the green area and downtown, and an opportunity to revitalize, and it's just very exciting. And I think that we talk about a destination, you know, the Children's Museum, bringing in kids from other communities, other school districts, which then leads into the parking that we would need, because you have to have buses, you have, I mean, but again, that, you know, if kids come, a lot of times they're chaperones. Chaperones come, parents say, hey, Columbus has got some things going on. They come back. I mean, this is what it's all about.
From the library perspective, not only would the Children's Museum be a great addition and add to what can be done in town, but with the art gallery, right now it's limited in its space in the basement. Not as many artists and type of art can be brought in. Sculptural work could be added into this new facility, and being part of the community room gives them much more visibility. You're sharing that art experience with a lot of people that otherwise wouldn't seek it out, but maybe they're having a meeting held in that room, and then they get to experience that.
So another reader was asking if the current library is torn down before the new one is built, how would the library operate? How could people get their books during that time when there isn't a structure?
Sure, yeah, we plan to serve the community from the vacated police station.
Oh.
Just like a lot with this project, we're not spending funds until we have approval from the community. So we're just kind of brainstorming, but we're looking at using council chambers for some of our smaller programs like story time or crafternoons with the teens. And then larger programs would need to be held off-site, but we can think of some facilities that might help us out with that. The collection, of course, would be limited due to space, but we aim to maximize the main level of the old police station for our high-use collections, new material, public computers, and our makerspace equipment. And then the majority of the collection would likely be in the lower level of the police station, which would not have public access. So staff would retrieve items in a similar way to what we did when we offered curbside service when we were closed due to the pandemic.
So people wouldn't have to worry about the library not being operational?
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, so we exist to serve the community, and certainly wouldn't stop doing that during construction.
So if the measure passes, what is the timeline exactly? What can residents expect to see? When can residents expect to see this new building up and operational?
Sure. Well, if it passes in November, the first thing that we're going to do is finalize a contract with an architect and then get the library contents moved out of the library into the old police station. Then the demo would start in the spring of 2021, and the total construction would be done early 2023, and that's when we'd be able to move the library into the new building and City Hall into the new building. We would hope that in the spring of 2023 we are open to the public and everything's ready to go and fully operational.
Okay. So can you explain what would happen to those funds, these funds that we're talking about, if this project is not approved, and the dynamics of how these funds work? I ask because there are some online who have speculated those funds could be used for a variety of things, from fixing up roads to bringing Target and Home Depot to Columbus, fixing up Quail Run, or to provide a new office at the cemetery. Is there any truth to any of that?
No. I mean, the half-cent sales tax was specifically worded to address the needs of these projects, and these projects being the police and fire, the police station, the fire station, and the library cultural arts center. So that is the only thing these funds can be spent toward. It would then become part of the funding mechanism to pay off sooner the police and the fire. But the funding mechanism can't be expanded to anything else.
You can't just pick what you want it to go to?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
What they need to understand is if they want Target in town, and this gets us off the subject of the library, but if they want Target in town, they need to generate letters to the chairman of Target.
Is there anything else that any of you would like to say about the project that we haven't discussed?
I want to say that I'm excited about the project because I'm a resident of Columbus. I have children that attend the library that would be excited about a children's museum, and because I am the city administrator of Columbus, and I just recognize the huge efficiencies that we'll gain with this project and co-locating all these facilities under one roof. I'm really excited about the possibility of having a leased children's museum and coffee shop in this building that the city gets the benefit from but doesn't have any of the burden. So the operation and the maintenance and the contents of those spaces are not a taxpayer burden. The ongoing cost of those isn't. So that's really exciting to me as the city administrator.
You want to recognize, and the public needs to understand, is the costs that we have put out for this project are all maximum costs. And they include everything.
Everything.
I mean, it's not, okay, here's the building, now we've got to equip it, now we've got to do, no, this is a complete package. So the dollars the public are seeing is a complete facility. When it's done, turn the key, we're in it, we're working it.
Well, gosh, we appreciate you guys taking the time to come and talk with us. It's been a good conversation, and we appreciate all of you out there for watching. We hope that you are informed and ready to go as you cast your vote in this election. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.